Hello, my friends. My name is Dr. Andrew Nash, and I'm taking time out today from my busy schedule to let you know about a topic of utmost importance to the public health. Over the past few weeks to months, a new disease has made itself apparent to public health officials in the United States. And epidemiologic surveys amongst emergency rooms and hospitals in this country have demonstrated that the main concentration for this disease has fallen in Northern California, and specifically San Francisco Bay Area. This disease has such an insidious onset, yet results in such drastic, overwhelming mental illness and psychosis that I feel that I cannot help but tell you about this disease today, so that we may both learn more about the disease process, the early symptoms, and what can be done to avoid the progression and spread of this awful, awful affliction. As I'm sure most of you who are watching already know, I am talking, of course, about what is described in the medical literature as acute Milton Bradley dice psychosis, or as the lay term refers to it, Yahtzee. Before we continue with our case study portion of this documentary, let's first examine the epidemiologic cause of what we're discussing. The game of Yahtzee. Milton Bradley, already defending itself from various legal suits that have been brought forth by the families of sufferers of Yahtzee, is a simple game. Simple, yet complex. The Yahtzee game is comprised of a simple cup for rolling, note the red color, 5 dice, should I say, which seem to be innocent enough. All just standard regulation dice. That sound. A score pad containing the various categories of scoring. Bonus chips. Bonus chips are awarded when the individual playing the game gets a second or additional Yahtzee, or Yahtzees perhaps, in the game. Bonus chips are a good thing. For those playing Yahtzee, of course. The instructions, which of course, once the Yahtzee enthusiast becomes familiar, these are not necessary and are only referred to in situations of acute Yahtzee psychosis, when in fact someone becomes so involved in the game that they forget completely what they're doing. And of course the box, which becomes quite invaluable when playing in an enclosed space where limited table surfaces are present and you can just merely roll the dice into the box. So the purpose of the Yahtzee game, for those of you who could possibly be unfamiliar, is similar to the ground rules of poker, where one rolls all 5 dice and tries to score based on either getting collections of certain numbers on the dice, 1s, 2s, 3s, etc., or getting scores of 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, full house, small and large straights, and of course the ultimate goal is to obtain a Yahtzee, which is basically a 5 of a kind. Seems simple enough, however, the trick is in the playing. Various point scores are awarded for each permutation which I have described, and there is a bonus score obtained if a certain level of scoring is obtained in the upper level. Again, I'll show you the upper level of the scorecard. This part, it seems, this part, the upper level of the scorecard, would appear to be, shall I say, the more likely culprit of creating the mental illness described as acute Milton Bradley dice psychosis or Yahtzee. This upper level, and more specifically the frenzy which the individual has worked into in trying to achieve the bonus score, seems to be at the heart of the matter here. A couple of other points on the ground rules of the game. First of all, any or all of the dice may be rolled up to 3 times in one turn. The objective of each turn is to, of course, score the highest number of points for that 1 to 3 rolls of the dice. The specific objective of the individual playing during those rolls may change during the rolls. For instance, a person may be trying for 4 of a kind initially of 3s, say, and then may change strategies depending on which dice are rolled and what the results are subsequently. So strategies change within each game, or within each turn of each game. Additionally, there is a scoring permutation referred to as chance, which, if under given circumstances an individual is unable to score the 5 dice of a given turn in any of the specific categories, the total of the dice may be added up one time during the game and scored as quote-unquote chance. This allows less experienced Yahtzee players to still obtain respectable scores while not always able to score in a specific category each time. Chances for wimps. Oh, excuse me. That's a strategic point. Let us now take a brief period of time to really take a camera's eye look at what we're talking about here. Let's look in at an individual who clearly has been afflicted with this unfortunate diagnosis of Yahtzee, or as we doctors refer to, acute Milton Bradley dice psychosis. Let me warn you before we go to this case study that what you're about to see may be shocking. I would advise that you remove any young children or pets from the room before fully viewing this case study, as the results may be quite influential and disturbing to some. Now that you've been warned, let's take a look.
Note the subject's initial excitement
Yahtzee!
from merely viewing the box. Yahtzee.
Oh, I love Yahtzee!
Clearly, he is elated,
Oh, God!
as is his pet.
Oh, Capo, it's Yahtzee! Oh, yeah, lick it. Oh, let's
A
open it
very
up.
emotional
Play,
subject, of
Capo.
course.
Oh. Oh, God, it's Yahtzee.
Merely touching the game pieces
I know.
brings
Here, you
the
lick
subject
dice.
much pleasure.
I know. Oh. God. What's this?
However, he is emotional
Scrabble?
labile and becomes irritated at the slightest stimulus.
Oh, God.
Yet is able to focus back on
Play
the game.
Yahtzee. Come on, Capo, come here. Let's play Yahtzee. Oh, let's play. I'll roll for
The
you.
subject humanizes
get?
his pet dog.
3 2s? Oh!
Clearly he believes that his animal friend is able to partake in the game with him.
Oh, no. A full house! Oh, you got a full house, Capo. Okay. 25 for Capo and a full house.
Somehow the subject believes that his pet understands
My turn, Capo.
this game as well.
Oh, good. 5s. We'll go
Watch
for
how the
5s,
subject
Capo.
reacts as he obtains a Yahtzee.
Oh my god. Yahtzee! We got a Yahtzee!
Clearly pathologic behavior on this count.
Thank you. Oh! 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 Cable! We got a Yahtzee! Oh!
This behavior is reminiscent of individuals who abuse very, very powerful amphetamine drugs. Now contrast this behavior to the subject's behavior when the game is not quite as successful. Again, still very interested in the game and very contemplative about what the dice will reveal.
One? I got a 1? 1?
The subject clearly feels unable to deal with the reality of the scoring situation.
Okay. Capo, I need 4 6s to get the bonus score. It's 1 6.
The subject has a very unlikely and improbable task ahead of him,
Need 2 more
obtaining
6s.
4 out of 5 dice being 6s.
Oh!
And clearly the subject is distraught when he fails at this task.
2 points for the top. Be quiet. Don't laugh at me.
Now the hallucinations begin.
Hey! You're mocking me!
Clear example of paranoid behavior.
I never said that!
And now the subject sinks into a
Evil
deep
fangs!
depression.
Oh! Oh no! I'm a failure!
Note the range of emotions in this patient.
Quite scary, really, wasn't it? Let's just review what we just saw. Previously well, young man was seemingly transformed by the mere vision, sight of the game Yahtzee. Initially, upon opening the box and inspecting the parts and handling the dice, the man seemed elated, thrilled to be participating in the game. And in fact, when the luck of the dice, if it really is luck at all, went in his favor, he was elated, thrilled, charmed, on top of the world. However, when the luck of the dice, when the roll went against him, things weren't so good. And where were we? Oh, yes. Things weren't so good, and in fact, he yes, became depressed and even psychotic. You saw him talking to people that weren't really there, and his previously friendly companion, Capo the dog, he referred to him as having vicious fangs or something to that nature. So, what to do about this awful illness? It appears that the best prevention would be abstinence, of course. Just one moment, please. Not having the game around would, of course, not lend itself to being played, and therefore you would not acquire Yahtzee shots or Yahtzee. Yes. However, this game has been around for many years, and in fact, there are hundreds of thousands of versions of it in people's homes already. So, what are we going to do about this? Well, moderation, therapy. There is therapy being started at major research centers across the Bay Area, in fact, to try to deal with people who have become afflicted. What I would do is I would refer people to these centers, and in fact, the number will appear on the screen at the end of this discussion, and get them help right away. For the sooner things are done, the sooner they can be helped. And in fact, we've seen people who have been so afflicted be able to be helped and treated and return to, I'll say, relatively productive lives. So, now that we've discussed the basic warning signs, which of course are initial elation, playing the game of course, initial elation, and later psychosis, depression, and self-doubt, we can basically anyways, so this has been Dr. Andrew Nash, MD, discussing with you, my patients and friends, a very important mental health issue that has, unfortunately, afflicted many of us. Thank you very much.